Hello Internet, I'm back with another book review, and this time it's on Amanda Craig's The Lie of the Land, which I read as part of the pick of my real life book club that I'm a member of down at the local Waterstones. And it's about a couple and their children, 3 children, 2 adults, and the couple, Quentin and Lottie, they want to get divorced because Quentin has committed adultery. Pretty good reason to get divorced, I'd say. But unfortunately for them, they cannot afford to get divorced, and because one thing is they've lost their jobs, and another thing is they live in London, and because of the house prices, even if they sold their current house, they couldn't afford to buy 2 houses for them to go live in, or flats or whatever. So instead they decide to move to the countryside and to rent out their house in London and kind of live off the rent, and that way save costs. And of course this is almost a fate worse than death for some of them, to have to move from vibrant London with all its amenities into the far wilds of Devon, where shops are closed on Sunday and you can't just pop 10 meters down the road if you want a bottle of milk. Horror. Anyway, that's kind of the plot outline, and of course once you get to Devon there are all kinds of developments, etc., which I won't spoil for you. It took me a while to get into the book for a couple of reasons. The first of kind of the opening chapters, where you get to meet Quentin and Lottie and their children. It felt very much like every cliche think piece about life these days and what it's like to live in London and trials of modern life, blah blah blah. You get kind of these kind of stereotypical people that are in those kind of journalistic pieces, and you open the book and you find the exact same people. So I was kind of already a bit bored with the characters when the book was only just starting. Fortunately, that got better as we got to know them a bit more and got further into the book. I did start to warm to the characters a bit. Another thing that kind of bothered me was some of the writing. Occasionally some weird grammatical, I feel a bit pretentious calling them errors, but the camera certainly didn't seem right to me. Kind of weird jumps in verb tense halfway through a sentence. Also kind of places where the sentences don't quite fit together. Suddenly there are weird jumps, and halfway through a paragraph we've jumped to a different place, or suddenly we're in a flashback to a conversation that happened earlier. And it just didn't quite work for me. But as we got further into the book, kind of had fewer and fewer of those moments. That kind of helped with enjoying the book. Also, what kind of didn't work for me, or what I think maybe an issue for the book, is it tried to do a bit too much. So we have these characters, they're going through a divorce, and they're trying to either put back together their life or not. They're dealing with having lost a job, and there are all kinds of other things going on as well. So Quentin's father is terminally ill. Lottie has a relationship with her mother, and on the one hand, that's kind of true to real life, right? Real lives are complex. There are all kinds of things going on. But then the book tries to deal with all of that, and then heaps even more stuff on top. So apart from just kind of the emotions and the relationships of this core family, it wants to deal with city life versus countryside life, and the attitudes of people living in cities versus countryside people. Wants to deal with EU and Brexit, touches on it slightly, but also EU migration is touched on. Other parts of British politics. So a whole bunch of stuff going on, and because there's a murder mystery thrown in as well at some point, and because there's so much going on, and because we kind of keep switching points of view in different chapters, by the time sometimes you kind of get back to certain subplots, there's been so much happening in the meantime that or at least I almost didn't care about the subplot anymore. I've kind of forgotten what was going on. Oh wait, this thing happened that I had to care about again, and now after 50, 60 pages we're getting back to it again. And yeah, somehow that kind of this felt a bit overly ambitious. At least in the sense, not that there's anything wrong with being that ambitious, but it didn't quite deliver on that ambition. In the end, though, I don't want to be too negative. I did kind of enjoy the experience in the end, and especially, you know, the characters in the end got me through the story. So even when, you know, maybe there were plot arcs that I didn't care too much about because they were kind of too fragmented, I still wanted to, you know, see what happened to the characters, how they developed. I think the book had a lot of good things to say, especially in the second half, about, you know, real life relationships aren't always, you know, a bed of roses isn't just one happy moment and then you live happily ever after. There's work involved, and you know, and you know, maybe sometimes people, in order for a relationship to carry on, people need to be forgiven, and can or should you forgive them, or is it better to end the relationship? How do you work through those issues? There was a lot the book had to say about that, and for that I think it was that kind of in the end saved the book for me, I would say. So all in all, not the best book I've read this year, but enjoyable nonetheless. And if you're interested in a book that is kind of about, you know, real life relationships where there isn't a magic moment and then a happily ever after, but, you know, where relationships take work, and what kind of work and how you go about that, and, you know, what people have to do to make a marriage work and last, then definitely give it a try. And otherwise, there's plenty more books to read. Right, thank you for watching. If you have read The Lie of the Land, let me know down below what you thought, and see you hopefully next time. Bye bye.